the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out.
Hello, Miami. Thank you so much for watching 305 Sports Now. Once again, I am your host, Will. And ladies and gents, it didn't take very long. No, it did not take very long at all. After landing Carson Beck, all right, which is huge for the Miami Hurricanes, and now they have their QB1 for the upcoming 2025 season. Miami Hurricanes didn't take that long as people thought they would, as they land their defensive coordinator, right? This past Saturday, they pick up their DC, Corey Hetherman, the former DC out of Minnesota, the Golden Gophers of Minnesota over there. And it is quite interesting because no one seriously put on social media or even reported that I could think of, or that I heard, that this individual was going to be the next Miami Hurricanes defensive coordinator, or had a shot until literally Saturday, from what I heard. But just a bit about him. There's a reason why Mario Cristobal picked him, and I'll get into that about a minute or so. But I want to give a little background on him because he actually started on the offensive side of the ball, guys. He was the quarterback out of a small Division III school over in Massachusetts called Fitchburg. Okay, he played at Fitchburg State, a Division III school. When he graduated, he was the quarterback coach over there. He really didn't start coaching defense and get his eye on defense until 2011, when he was the outside linebacker coach over at Old Dominion. And then later on in 2019, 2021, that time period under Kirk Cignetti, yes, the Kirk Cignetti over at Indiana, he became the defensive coordinator and defensive end coach over there as well, over at James Madison, right, where he won the AFCA award for Best Assistant Coach of the Year. Then he goes to Rutgers in 2022 and 2023 and is coaching under Greg Schiano. He's coaching linebackers over there. Then he gets hired for one season because he left to Miami to be the defensive coordinator over at Minnesota, and he's also coaching defensive ends as well. In 2024, though, the Minnesota defense was pretty solid, man. It was pretty strong. 5th overall in defense, all right? The team only gave up an average of 285 yards per game, a little bit over that, about 285.7. They were 5th in the nation in total defense and 5th in the nation, 285 yards allowed per game. 12th in rushing defense at 109.5, just a little under 110. 7th in interceptions, rack up 22 picks for the season. Now, the best way to describe Coach Corey, and the best way to basically, from his perception of how he views defense and how he views himself as a coach, is as follows. For starters, he likes to be a disruptor. Okay, he likes a very physical and nasty defense. Okay, he likes to put pressure on the quarterback. He also likes to stop the run and make it very difficult for teams to feel comfortable in their offensive setting. So that's one thing he likes to do. He's a complete disruptor. He likes to be physical, something that Miami lacked this season, especially in crucial games like Georgia Tech and late in the game against Syracuse, to say the least. So that was something that was lacking in Miami's defense this year, especially towards the end of the season against the two teams I mentioned. And this is one of the main reasons why Coach Hetherman was hired by Mario Cristobal and the Miami Hurricanes. So that's one thing about him as well. He's also, like I said, he comes from an education background, so he likes teaching. So he's going to be very patient in teaching the techniques and teaching the plays and so on that will go along with his defense. Something that I do like and do like that I heard. He's known as an in-game statistician. So he basically coaches from what he sees on the field at the moment. So it's not just going to stick to the scheme. If the scheme requires change right in the game, he's willing to do so. And that is something that I felt that Coach Guidry lacked, especially against Syracuse, when he kept bringing in the safety on blitzes when O.J. Federico was getting torched by Cal McCord and the wide receivers. So this is something that sounds good, because if that was the case this season, if he was dealing with that in Syracuse, we probably wouldn't have had the situation we had, in the game, because he probably would have not blitzed the safety and had safety help the whole entire time. And even something as simple as jamming the receivers to keep Kyle McCord off his timing. There's something that Coach Guidry wasn't calling in the game against Syracuse. Syracuse really, really got under my skin, because I thought it was literally the worst performance I had seen of a Miami defense and the Miami defensive coordinator in a very, very, very long time. So this is something that he's going to emphasize in. Again, great in-game statistician, as well. Some key wins this season. He has two ranked wins. These teams were ranked at the time. They defeated USC, which was ranked 11th at the time, 24-17. His defense held USC to 17 points. Lincoln Riley, who's considered an offensive genius, all right, was shut down by Coach Hetherman's defense. And at the time, Illinois was ranked. The Fighting Illini were ranked 25th. Again, only giving up 17 points to the Fighting Illini. Now they lost to Penn State. To Penn State by 1 point, 26-25, almost upset the Nittany Lions. But the statistic I found very fascinating in this game is the fact they held Penn State to 3.5 yards per carry, running the football. 3.5 yards per carry. This is a team that was a Final Four to go to the national championship game, a team that takes pride in running the football and being physical as well. Coach Corey's team, held them to 3.5 yards per carry. So that's very impressive, and that's something that I enjoyed and was very happy to read. Now, my thoughts on the hire. This is not a guy I was thinking about at all. My number one guy was Jim Leonhard, the former DC over at Wisconsin. I think he's a guy with experience. His defenses have had success. Came from a pretty big program as well. Many people, like I mentioned in an earlier podcast, felt that he should have been the one to take over for when Paul Chryst was dismissed, not Luke Fickell. Okay, I know Luke Fickell was a hot name at the time, but they felt that Jim Leonhard should have been given a shot at the head coaching opportunity, at the head coaching position over at Wisconsin. And again, I like Muschamp for the experience, and my wild card was Coach Tavares Robinson because of his history with Coach Muschamp, his history playing for coaching for top teams in the SEC as well, and his connection to Miami. So those were my three that I had. Two guys I liked and one wild card. Coach Hetherman was not in the picture. On paper, everything looks good. He coached in a major conference. Didn't take on Ohio State, but did take on Michigan, and also came close to defeating Michigan as well, and came very close to defeating Penn State. The defense had a lot to do with that, and his team had 2 ranked wins this season. So, but listen, we've been burned before. Kevin Steele, the experienced guy, runner-up Rose Award winner. We were all happy with Coach Guidry. His first year, Miami was a legit top 25 defense, and then we get into his second season when there was a personnel change, especially in talent, and the team grossly underachieved. You can have a regression, but Miami was giving up 31 points per game, maybe a little more, maybe a little less, but more or less in that range against Power 4 opponents, and that's just something that's unacceptable, and it cost Coach Guidry his job. So I'm gonna wait and see approach when it comes to Coach Corey, to Coach Hetherman. But I am excited because of what I've read. Obviously, you're excited, and you get the good stuff, the positives about Coach Hetherman. I do like the fact that he came from a school that is in a major conference. So that's kind of like, so he's a bit more he's pretty battle tested. So that's one thing I am thrilled to read about. But we'll see. We'll see when the season starts against Notre Dame, because that's going to be one heck of a test against possibly the national champion. I can't believe I'm saying that. Ohio State and Notre Dame playing for the national championship. I'm not rooting for any of those two in the game. I just want to watch just to see. But the fact those two may become national champs really gets me as a Canes fan. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. I want to be straight to the point. If you like what you heard, please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to 305 Sports Now. The more you like, share, and subscribe, the more I can keep putting out this content that you guys enjoy. God bless you guys. All right, go Canes. Bye-bye. All about to you. Take care.